I've had a wonderful evening with President-elect Trump. We had another discussion about affairs throughout the world, and these discussions I've had with him have been enlightening and interesting and engaging. I've enjoyed them very, very much. He continues with a message of inclusion and bringing people together, and his vision is something which obviously connected with the American people in a very powerful way.
Yeah, so there are tapes. That was 2016 Mitt Romney, and this is now Senator-to-be Mitt Romney. Just days before he is officially sworn in, the 2012 presidential candidate took aim at President Trump in a scathing Washington Post op-ed, writing, quote, "Trump's conduct over the past 2 years, particularly his actions this month, is evidence that the president has not risen to the mantle of the office. With the nation so divided, resentful, and angry, presidential leadership in qualities of character is indispensable, and it is in this province where the incumbent's shortfall has been most glaring." Now, as expected, the president fired back on Twitter this morning, saying, quote, "Here we go with Mitt Romney, but so fast. Question will be, is he a flake? I hope not. Would much prefer that Mitt focus on border security and so many other things where he can be helpful. I won big. He didn't. He should be happy for all Republicans. Be a team player and win." I want to draw attention to something you tweeted last night, which you said, which is totally true for all of us on Capitol Hill. We have all been wondering what kind of posture is Senator Mitt Romney going to strike. Okay, we have about 1,000-word answer here. What's your kind of sense on it right now?
Well, I found it so interesting because there's this time-honored tradition for really high-profile incoming senators to keep their head down once they're sworn in on Capitol Hill and be really focused on their state issue. I mean, we remember Al Franken when he first came into Congress, as well as Elizabeth Warren as well. They wanted to be Minnesota-focused, Massachusetts-focused. And Romney ran his campaign, kind of disassociated from the national issues. He did run a Utah-focused campaign, and I kind of imagine that while he would weigh in once in a while, that's the kind of tack he would want to take, at least for the first several months. I was wrong. So he clearly engaging with the national press right away, making a splash, showing that he does want to be this prominent voice in critiquing the president, even though he did say in his op-ed that he doesn't want to comment on every utterance or tweet or comment. We will certainly be asking him in the Senate hallways, but he's definitely going to have a perch. I mean, Republican officials have told me that Romney is likely going to get a spot on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which would give him an obvious platform to talk about issues of Russia, North Korea, and challenge the president on those issues. And I'll be interested in seeing on which areas he does kind of back away and decide not to engage. I think that's going to be the tug and the seesaw that we're going to be seeing for quite some time.
Yeah, as you can expect, the president's allies were quickly out with their own thoughts. I want to play some sound from David Bossie, who's very close to the White House, has a lot of meetings at the White House. This is what he had to say.
This is a pathetic attempt by Mitt Romney for relevancy. This is a guy who comes to Washington, and instead of trying to help this president, instead of trying to help the Republican Party, he wants to attack this president and really try to undo and be the center of attention. Because he has his own political machine, his own media operation, and he's used to the national stage, he comes to Washington as somebody who looks like, to me, the Flake, McCain, Corker, all in one guy. And he's going to be the guy who's standing in the breach.
All in one guy. That's impressive. So look, you expect Bossie, you expect Brad Parscale, the campaign manager. What about a relative, perhaps? Say the current RNC chair, who also happens to have Romney in her name, or used to have Romney in her name, who tweeted, "POTUS is attacked and obstructed by the mainstream media and Democrats 24/7 for an incoming Republican freshman senator to attack Donald Trump on their first act, feeds into what the Democrats and media want and is disappointing and unproductive." And she pinned that tweet, which I think has meaning with the youth.
Well, it's a good thing the holidays are over, because that would be an awkward family reunion.
But it is an interesting point, because this becomes the story, right? This becomes what everybody's talking about. And Mitt Romney's making a point, but one of the questions I heard repeatedly last night was, what's the broader strategy here? What's he trying to accomplish with this? Do you have any sense at all?
Well, a lot of people were asking when Senator McCain passed away, Jeff Flake retiring, Bob Corker retiring, were there going to be dissenting, high-profile dissenting voices in the Republican Senate conference, because many of the Republicans who were elected were far more pro-Trump than those who were retiring. I think Mitt Romney made clear that he will be one of those high-profile dissenting voices with this op-ed. I mean, he's 71 years old. He's clearly not going, maybe he will spend the rest of his life in the Senate, but he doesn't have time to lose. He's not 40 years old. He probably will not have another job after this, and I think he made it clear he's going to use his time in the Senate and probably making a splash. And I don't think David Bossie is wrong, except that I would take issue with it perhaps not being pathetic, but he clearly does want to focus attention around himself and use his new platform. And he's not just a freshman senator. He was formerly the putative leader of the Republican Party as its presidential nominee.
Yeah, I get the feeling that we have to...
Sorry, the question then just becomes, what can he do with this? Because what you've seen over the last 2 years is it's Trump's party now. And folks who have tried to push back and have tried to be critics have not had a ton of success.
Well, I think you're seeing some of that now with concern about whether Trump will be challenged in a 2020 primary. And the next question becomes, will there be a challenger to Trump? Will Mitt Romney get behind that effort? And perhaps will Mitt Romney challenge Trump?
Yeah, no, I think we're going to probably have to do a lot of panels on this one. Maybe a column or 9 from Carl Holz over there. All right, and you will see Mitt Romney live today on The Lead. He'll sit down with our own Jake Tapper for his first interview since that op-ed. That's today at 4 p.m. right here on CNN.